What is going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of Predict the Prem, where me and Ben go head-to-head predicting Premier League results throughout the season. Although, as you can see to my right, is it my right or your right? I don't know, I can't figure it out on camera. But it's not Ben, it's Brian in the studio. Well, not in the studio, but joining me today for Premier League predictions. He is not predicting, though, but he's going to be kind of doing little previews and giving his 2 cents on each fixture. But we do have Ben's predictions, and we've got my predictions coming up on screen. If you're new around here, how the scoring works: 5 points for a correct scoreline, 1 point for a correct result, and the star man, once you pick that man, you can't pick them again for the rest of the season. And if they score a goal, we get 5 points, and for an assist, it's 2 points. So let's get underway. So this weekend, some really tasty fixtures going into the weekend. First up, 12:30 on Saturday, the Merseyside derby. Liverpool take on Everton. I've gone for 1-0. Ben's also gone for 1-0. And I'm assuming we're both predicting a 90th minute winner for Liverpool, which seems to be the order of the season for them. Obviously got that little bit of luck last week against Burnley, didn't they, Brian? Where got a handball in the 95th minute from Hannibal, ironically, and that was obviously a devastating blow. Everton have also had a pretty positive start to the season under David Moyes. We've just gone for Liverpool to shade it, though. What do you reckon?
I've actually been really impressed with Everton this season. It's good to see them in the top half and competing and getting off to a good start. I'm actually going to go for Liverpool to drop points for the first time this season. I'm going to go 1-1. I think Liverpool, every game, even last night, they're getting the late winners, aren't they? I think their luck runs out in the derby. 1-1.
Yeah, and they can't keep getting late winners, can they? But I actually have to say, yesterday I was watching them. That was probably their best performance of the season. They should have really won that more comfortably than they did. They allowed Atletico back into it when really they should have been out of sight in that game. It should have been 3-0 done and dusted. They allowed Atletico back in, and they were a bit unlucky maybe to be pegged back in the way they were. I think both goals Atletico scored were deflected, but obviously they got the late winner anyway. Isaac, Premier League debut for Liverpool as well this weekend. So had a decent appearance yesterday for them. Didn't get on the score sheet. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how he gets on his Premier League debut in the Merseyside derby. But yeah, we've both gone for 1-0. Brian, saying he reckons a draw. Very interesting.
Yep.
To the Amex, 3 o'clock, Spurs taking on Brighton. Me and Ben have both gone for 1-1 here. Both said Spurs are going to drop points. I just feel Brighton under Fabian Hertzler, they're a very well set up team, very difficult to play against, played really nice football. And I think Spurs at the moment, we're defending well, we're getting wins, but I don't know, there's still obviously something missing in our performances. Are we going to go there and keep a clean sheet? I'm not certain. And if we don't keep a clean sheet, are we gonna score more than a goal? Right now, I'm also not certain about that. So I've just gone for 1-1. I think it's going to be a difficult game for Spurs. So I've gone for 1-1.
Right. I am going the clean sheet run ends, but the 3 points don't. 3-1 Spurs. I got a feeling Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth are going to play quite open. And I think Spurs now are growing in stature and confidence. And this may be the game where things click at the forward line. So I'm going for a convincing 3-1 Spurs win.
That would be absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and also, I've still got that Bournemouth performance in my mind, to be honest, how we played against them. And hopefully we've showed in this game we've learned some lessons from that game. Next up, Turf Moor. Burnley take on Ange's Nottingham Forest. Ange was in typical Ange fashion yesterday, 2-0 up against Swansea, and conceded 2 goals in stoppage time and ended up losing the game 3-2, which is quite incredible, how they managed to do that. But they go to Turf Moor in what obviously is could be a tricky game, as Liverpool found out last week. But I've just gone for Forest to win 3-1. I've watched their game. I watched some of the highlights yesterday against Swansea, and I know they ended up losing, but they created lots of chances. They really should have put that game to bed. And they ended up conceded 2 in stoppage, sorry. So I've gone 3-1. Ben's gone 2-1 to Forest. We've both gone Forest wins. What are you thinking?
I'm going for a draw, but I can't
Draw.
decide 1-1 or 2-2. I just think when you look at Ange last season against low block teams and teams like this, we did struggle. And I think he's had a week where he had two days each with breaks to get them on the training pitch. I don't think it would have been enough to get what he wants over the line. And it still might be a bit mishmash from Nuno and Ange. So I'm gonna go. Let's go for an entertaining 2-2.
2-2 between Burnley and Forest. Let's go to London Stadium. West Ham take on Crystal Palace. We've me and Ben have both gone for 1-0 to Palace here. West Ham just in dire form, aren't they? They had that brilliant win against Forest, which turned out to be Nuno's last game. Order was resumed after that 3-0 defeat to Spurs on the weekend. And I'm looking at Palace, and I think they're still unbeaten, aren't they? I don't think they've lost this season. In fact, I think they're 15 games unbeaten in all competitions, which is quite a remarkable record. Maybe not spoken about enough, really. Palace in the midst of a 15-game unbeaten run. Very, obviously, brilliant from defensively. They're lacking that bit up front with Eze leaving, but I do think they'll score. And I just don't think West Ham will. I've gone for a 1-0 win.
Yeah, I'm going to complete a hat trick with you and Ben. I just can't see how West Ham get out of the rut they're in. And also, from what I'm seeing, there's going to be planned protests from the West Ham fans regarding the ownership. So that's going to be a big part of it. And I think if they go a goal down first, then it could be a long, long day for the Hammers. 1-0 Palace.
1-0 Palace. To Molineux, Wolves take on Leeds. I've gone 1-0 Wolves, and Ben has gone 1-1. So I've gone for Wolves to get their first win of the season. Currently the only pointless team in the whole Premier League. Really, really struggling after losing the likes of Cunha and Ait-Nouri. Haven't replaced them adequately, in my opinion. But at home to Leeds, this is a massive opportunity, and I think they know they have to win this game. Even though it's 4 games into the season, it's become a very important game very quickly. So I've gone for them to scrape it. I think it's going to be a hard battle. I don't think Leeds are going to give up without a fight, but I think it's just going to be 1-0. It's going to be one of those basement battle dogfights. So I've gone for a close one. Ben's gone for 1-1. What are you thinking, Brian?
I think Wolves as well got off to a similar start like this last season, didn't they? Maybe not 4 defeats, but it took them a long time to get going. I'm going for a 2-1 Wolves win. 2-1 Wolves win. I think they'll be too strong at Molineux.
Yeah. Me too. Another tasty fixture coming up at Old Trafford. Man United face Chelsea, which is of quite. I mean, I've gone for 1-1. Ben's gone for 2-0 to Chelsea. Chelsea have had a decent start results-wise, performance-wise, similar to Spurs. Haven't really done great, I think, in a lot of their games, but they do have that quality. Obviously lost in midweek to Bayern Munich 3-1, thanks to, what was it, a brace from Harry Kane. Man United are obviously in free fall at the moment, and they are in big, big trouble. Ruben Amorim needs a result in this game, really, doesn't he? Otherwise, the pressure is going to keep building. He is massively under pressure. The only win they've had this season was a last-minute win against Burnley through a very controversial penalty. I mean, it's Amorim has to start picking up points somewhere. But will it be against Chelsea? I've gone to take a point. I just think both teams haven't been that great. So and also look, as much as Man United have been poor, there are some elements in that game against Arsenal and against. Even against Man City, where they did create chances and they were looking bright, but I don't think they're going to be good enough to win. But I reckon at home, at Old Trafford, I've just gone for to sneak a draw. What do you reckon?
Yeah, do you know what? This game, you've got to look at Manchester United have had the week to prepare and plan. Chelsea have had obviously Europe, but they've got 312 players, so they can rotate. It's a tough one. I think Amorim he's got to be literally last chance saloon, hasn't he? So they've got to try and get something in that forward line running. I think I'm going to go with you, Sim. 1-1. 1-1.
Yeah, but is a draw even a good enough result in the current circumstances for United? That's another question. I mean, it stops
or Chelsea with the way people are playing.
And Chelsea as well. I guess it stops the rot for Amorim if they get a draw, but
yeah.
I mean, they need to start picking up wins. And I've seen that guy who's said he won't cut his hair until Man United win 5 games in a row, and he's been doing the rounds this week, and a lot of big broadcasters have been picking up on it. I just feel so bad for him. I don't think he's never going to cut his hair again, I don't think.
Rapunzel, the Manchester.
All right, Fulham at Craven Cottage take on Brentford. Me and Ben have gone for 2-1 to Fulham. Yeah, I think Fulham at home, they're a smart team. I think Brentford, they've looked, to be fair to them, I think they've coped maybe better than a lot of people thought they would, having lost Frank and a load of good players so far anyway. They haven't got a really good draw against Chelsea, and they haven't looked too dissimilar to how they were last season at the moment. Henderson has fitted in quite well. I guess over a long season, time will tell how much they do actually miss the guys who've left. But right now, they seem to be okay, picking up the results here and there. But Fulham, they're a good team at home, and I think they'll just find a way to win. So I went 2-1.
I'm going to go the same score, but flipped. I'm going 2-1 Brentford.
Brentford.
Do you know what? I think Brentford, when I watched the Chelsea game last weekend, their never give up attitude, the way they were playing, they caused Chelsea a number of problems. And I've been quite impressed with what they've done after losing, obviously, Frank and so many other players and coaching staff. And I really want Brentford to do well this season. I really do. So I'm going 2-1 the Bees.
Yeah, and they're just such a well-run club, aren't they?
Incredible.
Such a well-run club. Fair play to him. Bournemouth against Newcastle. Well, I've gone for, that's another good game. I've gone for 2-1 to Bournemouth. Ben's gone 1-0 to Bournemouth. Another team, very well run, and another team who have lost a lot of players, yet seem to don't seem to miss them and seem to just getting on with their business. Semenyo has started the season absolutely on fire. Newcastle, I think they've got a good team there. Got their first win in the season against Wolves, but it was only 1-0. Vaultmaid got on the score sheet, so that'll give them a real confidence boost. I think Gordon is probably still missing in this game. I just think Bournemouth at the moment, they've got a lot of momentum, and I think they're going to take that momentum into this game and get them over the line. So I've got them for 2-1 here.
I'll tell you what, this game has the recipe to be either an absolute cracker or an absolute bore draw, hasn't it? I mean, all the elements are there, and obviously Eddie Howe returning. I think Bournemouth have been brilliant this season. Obviously, we saw it firsthand. Newcastle with their new strike force. You know, I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2. All right, Desmond.
Yeah, again,
which should be a great game. Sunderland take on Aston Villa, and the big question is, will Villa score their first goal of the season? I have gone with yes, and so has Ben, but Ben has gone with a 2-1 win to Sunderland. I've gone for 1-1. I think they'll be good enough for a point here, Villa. I know they've been very disappointing. Sunderland have the bit between their teeth at the moment. They're playing very well, up into the top half of the table. Really bedded into the Premier League quite well in the early stages. So I think it's going to be a very difficult trip for Aston Villa, but I think they'll be good enough for a point. But Ben's going 2-1 Sunderland. Where do you land?
I'm landing with you, Sim, again. I'm landing with you. I think Villa will get their goal, as does Ben. But I've been impressed with Sunderland. And Villa are in a... Obviously, this has not been the ideal start to the season, obviously going out of the Carabao Cup as well. Yeah, I've been very impressed with Sunderland. So, yeah, I can see them keeping a point.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a closely fought tie. And the end of the weekend, which is an absolute mouth-watering contest, Arsenal at the Emirates against Man City. Ben and I have both gone for Arsenal wins. 2-1 I've gone for. Ben's gone 2-0, get them keeping a clean sheet. I don't know what their injury list is going into this game, but you know what? The way they've constructed their squad, I don't think it matters, because it seems as though they've got players in every position now who can fill in when serious players are injured. Man City, as much as they impressed in that win against Man United last week, I still think there's a lot of problems defensively there. So it's going to be very interesting. Look, they've got lots of firepower, and obviously you can't ignore Haaland ever. But I feel like Arsenal, what I'm seeing from them this season, they're going to be very defensively solid, and they've got that firepower now of Gyökeres up front to hurt this Man City team. So I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I do think Arsenal are going to win this. So I went for 2-1 to Arsenal.
I think it's going to be I think it's going to be 3-2, but I just can't decide which team.
Ooh.
I just can't. I think it's going to be a complete back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and purely on biased issues. Nothing more, nothing less. 3-2 Man City.
And that would be absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, Arsenal laying down the gauntlet in terms of their title charge. It's a game they really should win, or they have to win, especially after losing to Liverpool as well. All right, star men. I've gone for Muniz of Fulham. Ben has gone for João Pedro of Chelsea away at Man United. So he's thinking João Pedro is going to do some damage. I've gone for Muniz at home to Brentford. So yeah, that is our predictions. Let me know in the comment section below what your predictions are for this weekend and who do you think will come out on top. Thank you, Brian, as always, for joining us.
Always.
Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.